Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sports Place where we debate and talk sports. I'm joined by my two favorite co-hosts, one a professional athlete and one professional smack talker.
We know who's who.
Already know.
Okay, so this topic is changing kind of daily right now, but what do you see in the future for Deshaun Watson with everything that's going on?
So I guess I'll spark that off. The allegations are troubling. They're really troubling with Deshaun Watson. And from some of the reports that I'm seeing, he is scrubbing his social media, for tweets that, some people are arguing, maybe incriminating. But, it looks like at the same time, this attorney, Tony Busby, I believe his name is, like he has a lot of ambition. The guy ran for mayor of Houston. Seems like he may indeed want to raise his profile, but 20 some odd allegations, I think we're up to 24 and 14 lawsuits, if I'm not mistaken. This is going to be a real issue for Deshaun Watson moving forward. We're not going to have any answers to this for several months. And I think in terms of litigation, who knows? This could go on for years. The question is how the NFL is going to respond. The NFL has responded to these kinds of issues poorly in the past, either by not taking women's allegations seriously, or even when they have evidence holding it, like they did with Ray Rice, and not doing anything until after the video was released, or by sometimes punishing athletes before all the evidence is available. And I think we've seen that a couple times where I think they erred on the side of caution. And I understand from a business standpoint why you do that, but it's not always fair to the accused.
Most definitely.
And we've seen that actually a couple of times. I think there was, of course, and you don't get context, even for some of the videos. I think we saw that certainly with Ezekiel Elliott, and some of the allegations that were made against Zeke, where, the NFL, the way they dealt with it, might have been kind of questionable. I think the main thing that we have to learn with any of these situations, there have been a whole lot of terms thrown around: due process, believe women, all that kind of stuff. The thing that we have to do as a society, certainly as companies, as universities, is take every allegation seriously. Investigate it to the fullest extent. Make sure that every party is heard and gets a fair shake out of the whole process. But not rush to judgment one way or the other. Don't rush to exonerate people. Don't bury something to serve your own purposes so that, star athletes get a pass. And this is, the larger issue is that I think and I know that they do this, and Savon can speak to this even more than certainly than I can, is that young athletes, young men in general, there need to be these conversations about the relationships that they have, and how they treat fame, how they treat women, how they conduct themselves in public and in private. I think one of the things that needs to happen, and I'm going to tie this in with something that I watched today. I watched a video in Montgomery County, and some of you may have seen it, of two police officers and a 5-year-old African-American boy. And these police officers were black, by the way, just want to put it out there. And them encouraging the mother of this child. First of all, belittling her, talking down to her, and then, telling the little boy, basically threatening the little boy. They handcuffed the little boy. And then telling, over and over about 15 times, telling the mother to beat the boy. And I was really frustrated, particularly one officer who was female and was talking down to this other black woman. And then one officer was male and was threatening the little boy. And both of them were saying, you need to beat him. And it was frustrating for me because one of the things that we need to do is, particularly for young men who may not have father figures. I don't know if that little boy had a father. It never really came up in the video that I watched. But I think we've got to mentor them. We've got to encourage them. We've got to let young athletes know that their value isn't just in how fast they run the 40, how high they jump, that their value is intrinsic, and that they can do other things. And this is one of the reasons why I think Savon, and I'm gonna give props to Savon just this one time, but this is why I think he's such a good role model, because he realizes that his life contribution is much more than just football. His football career isn't over. He's here with us, and he's doing this, and he's going to be playing football soon. But, and he's a professional football player, but he realizes what he has to give to the world, is much more than just how many tackles or sacks he makes.
Definitely. Not to cut you off, I want to go back to what you said about these guys need to have conversations, but sometimes the conversation comes up too late, and it's after they've already done something that can mark their whole career forever.
Right.
It's the career of their lives. And a lot of the time, it's how you brought up, what you've seen. You're a product of your environment 100% of the time. I'm a firm believer in that. If you grew up around violence in the home, you're more likely to have violence in your home growing up. You know what I'm saying? So if they never had these conversations or open up within themselves about the things that they've been through or the traumas they've been through, have never faced those things, it's hard to react in the face of adversity, especially when situations like that arise. Or when you're used to being the man everywhere you go, when you finally get shut down somewhere, you know what I mean? Some men don't know how to take the word no, which is not okay.
Right.
Me coming from a family where I was raised by a bunch of women. I'm the youngest of 5. I got 3 older siblings, sisters, and an older brother. So I've learned how to respect women. I've learned how to treat women because I was raised that way. But if you weren't raised that way or it wasn't ingrained in you, you don't know how. And sometimes when you try to get these lessons late in life, these men are already how they're going to be. It's hard to change a habit you've been doing for years and years. It's hard to break a habit, but it's easy to form a habit, but it's hard to break it. That's one thing people don't understand. So when it comes back to Deshaun Watson, it's a terrible situation to be in. You're a person with high power, so you know they're gonna try to crucify you if things are true. But whether it's true or not, you're already guilty when it comes to these type of allegations. You got to prove yourself to be innocent, sadly. And whether it's true or not, you got to realize your name is scarred forever. You should never put yourself in those situations to even have these things brought up against you. One, you're in a relationship, supposedly a happy relationship. 2, there are so many different people in the world. If one person isn't for you, the next may be. You know what I'm saying? What's the biggest saying in the world? There are so many fish in the sea. Somebody says no, you must go at the end of the day. You know what I mean? People don't realize the damage they do mentally, physically. And the conversation that comes about all the time is, why are they saying this now? Why is this coming out now? You can't judge someone for when they want to speak on their truth. It takes a lot. When I say a lot, it takes a lot for these women, men to come to the light and share their stories. Imagine how many men have been in situations like that, but they're ashamed because I'm a man. This is not supposed to happen to a man. They don't want to speak on it. You know what I mean? It's not supposed to happen to a woman either. It's not okay on either side. But for for people to judge someone for coming to the table late with their pain, on the way they were dealing with it, is never okay for me. Like I said, I have 3 older sisters, and I would do anything. Like I said, it's a reason you live and die in this world, and I already made that decision for myself. So if I was in situations like that where I see something, I'm always going to say something. Especially if you're my friend, I'm gonna pull you away. That woman is not walking the right way. She's drunk. She's not in the right mind. Walk away. I've done it since college. Walk away. It's never gonna end. It's never gonna end well.
Right.
Either way, if the person is intoxicated or inebriated, wherever they may be, you can't legally give consent.
Right.
That's known.
Right.
And for athletes to go through these, we go through these talks every year. You have these same talks every year. You sit in meetings every year when you're a college athlete. For over an hour, they beat this into your head for you to still, if it's true, for you to still break that barrier and invade someone's space and privacy like that, it's never okay. And I feel like if you did a crime, you do the time. But if not, you deserve to be exonerated for the things that were said about you. But it doesn't work like that when it comes to these type of allegations. So at the end of the day, you're gonna be scarred for life.
The majority of his allegations, I believe, are coming from like massage therapists, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like he called in for a service.
I also heard that he agreed, like he admitted to some of the stuff.
Yeah, I think he's trying to
use having sex with some of the people.
Yeah, he's using the defense of categorically denying it, basically saying, yeah, it happened, but don't call it that. You know what I mean?
It didn't happen that way, and I respect that because it may not or it may have. No one knows except you that was in that room.
But you're Deshaun Watson. Why are you getting a massage therapist through your DMs? You know what I mean? Like, why are you DMing people on Instagram?
That's how it works, though. You gotta realize that's the day and age we're in.
I'm kind of really wondering, like, is he actually like? Jason will tell you, I get a massage like pretty regularly, right? Like I go like twice a month.
Yep, you be DMing Enrique to give you a massage.
It's never even occurred to me to like DM somebody and be like, hey.
Yeah, but you gotta realize this.
You look like you got strong hands.
You gotta realize this is the age of social media. There are a lot of people promoting through Instagram, man.
Well, this is my point. I don't have connections. Deshaun Watson has connections. He can't say like someone from the team, right? I need a massage. Find me a therapist, right?
No, I thought you were gonna say that wouldn't go well in the locker room. Like, hey, dog, I need a massage. Can you take you can rub this out of my rub this knot out my back? Yeah, now that's probably not gonna go.
I definitely agree with you there. There are definitely many outlets, but also Instagram is an outlet as well. Like I said. It's networking opportunities. I may reach out to you. Okay, we set up a plan. You give me this amount of massages. I promote you on Instagram and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? It's definitely certain ways you can go about DMing and inquiring about businesses.
But like that's what he did. That's the problem, though. Is because that, by what I read from the first woman who filed the complaint, her thing was he came along and he said, I can either help your career or hurt your career. You know what I mean? And that's using your influence and your power, basically extorting this woman.
Very true.
I don't, that's her side of it. That's not necessarily Deshaun Watson's side of it. And my thing is, if you are someone in this day and age, if you are a man who is in the public eye, you're better off, like I think like random dudes can run around and be with all different types of women. And, if you are a man who is in the public eye, it's a trade-off. You're going to get millions of dollars, but you might as well be Russell Wilson. Like that's probably your best bet because everybody feels entitled to what it is that you have. You know what I mean? Whether it doesn't matter, the situation or whether you think they understood something, that's not how people's brains work. Just like, Savon, if you get a big contract, you best believe I'll probably be like, I did help Savon out that one time. He got 10 million. He can't break me off with 10,000.
I definitely know how that go.
Yeah, people come to you and think that they're owed.
It's like Meek Mill said it best recently in one of his interviews. He was like, people never asked me for money when I was broke. And then I get money and they start asking me money and I don't give it to them. They say I changed. Right. No, you changed.
Right.
You asked me for money before. Now you asking me for money. Like, That's one of the best things I heard in a while.
Right, exactly. No, that's absolutely true. And so now I'm I think with Deshaun Watson, a lot of us, and I want to say this, and I don't want to bring up other cases, but I will say that a lot of times, to our audience of 3, I just want you guys to know that a lot of times when we see people and we see them on television and we see their nice interviews and we see them visiting hospitals, we think we know them.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know these people. You know what I'm saying? I thought that I knew the type of person Deshaun Watson was.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he's not that person. I'm not saying he's not that person, but this is a reminder that I don't know. You know what I mean? So I might as well be open-minded and let this whole thing play out.
That's coming through. My thing is, at the end of the day, you yourself as a person, you are a brand. You are your own brand. Protect your brand at all costs. Don't put yourself in any situations that will put you in a position to lose any piece of your brand or lose everything at all. You know what I'm saying? So if things are true, it's a sad case on both sides, like I said, because no woman deserves to have their innocence taken away in any manner, shape, or form. And he's going to lose everything he worked for in the process over some dumb ass mistakes. Excuse my language. Dumb ass mistakes. And that's not a mistake. That's not a mistake. Never mind.
Yeah.
Because if he did it, it's not a mistake. It's never a mistake. It's about power in those situations. And I truly do not deal with that type of stuff. But I say protect your brand at all costs, man. On both sides of it. Protect your brand and do what you can to stay safe in this world.
I'll say this, your name outlives you. Mm-hmm. So in a lot of cases, and I wanted to avoid bringing up the name, but I guess we have to, and that is like with Kobe Bryant. With everything great that he's done in life, there's always an asterisk by his name where somebody will bring up, the allegations against him. When Derrick Rose retires, there will always be an asterisk with somebody bringing up the allegations against him. Tupac, whoever it is, where there's allegations of harming people sexually. And, again, I think one of the reasons why we have to withhold judgment is because there are people who are unfairly accused, but we also have to not automatically excuse what could have happened because most of these things go unreported, and when people report them, they deserve our support for coming forward. And one of the things that I think is so poignant is that a lot of the things that's come out of the Me Too movement that's so true is everybody knows somebody who's been sexually assaulted. Everybody knows someone who's been raped. But nobody knows.
You know about the situation or not. You know somebody who's it happened to.
You know somebody who's been raped, but nobody knows a rapist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that means that there's some dudes that you probably run with, that's your man. And he may
You never know how they act behind closed doors.
Yeah, you don't know what it is that he's doing or how he's living. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's also, like you said, it's also about awareness. These young dudes need to understand, because our society doesn't respect women, and need to understand the kinds of relationships and understand the concept of consent, which seems cut and dry.
Not at all.
It's not always, because
many circumstances that can happen. Like, it's never black and white. It's always areas with the shades of gray. And consent is one of the biggest gray areas in the world, because a person can consent and they say no halfway through, and you have to stop.
Absolutely. One of the things that happened after the encounter with the first woman was that you know, according to her allegation, she started getting a whole bunch of DMs from players on the Houston Texans saying that they were referred by Deshaun. I think there may have been a disconnect where Deshaun Watson thought she was a sex worker, honestly. I think he was like, I get a good rub down and you're a sex worker, and I'm going to help your career by getting these other professional athletes to come and receive your services. But it was never...
That's kind of where I was going with the whole him looking for a massage therapist on Instagram instead of, you know, being referred by staff. And I'm not saying that they are sex workers, you know, I'm just saying, I'm wondering if that was his perception, because there's a lot of
feel it. Because I had massage therapists reach out to me on Instagram.
Right.
They don't look like massage therapists, so I don't reply. You're not going to get me in no trouble. So.
Right. So I'm thinking, like, is that his perception of what they are supposed to be, and not excuse?
I mean, but your perception doesn't make it reality at the end of the day.
Not at all.
So if you thought that, you should have asked the questions. But
no, I'm not
being in a relationship, he can't ask those questions. He can't incriminate himself. I think the whole thing, my opinion about this, I feel like the only reason he was kind of like denying the allegations because he didn't want to get caught up with his relationship. At the end of the day, it's all going to come out. If it's true, you cheated. Period. You know what I mean?
I mean, but that, listen, there, you know, relationships survive that. You know, sometimes they don't, and you move on. And I think Deshaun Watson, let's keep it real. Deshaun Watson is wealthy. He's talented. He's handsome. Like, he'll live.
Yeah, but
girl leaves him. He's gonna be all right.
None of that matters when stuff like this comes into play.
Right. Oh, when those kinds of allegations. But I'm saying, if he were, you know, if he got caught up with cheating or something like that, it would be a one-day story on Page 6, and then it would be done.
But
nobody would care.
Hey, you're cheating.
Yeah, I mean, even still, I would not care.
Imagine laying with a man.
Swipe right by that.
Imagine laying with a person that you love to find out they're an axe murderer. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, but that's different than they went and got with a jump off on Instagram.
But it's not a jump off if he took it.
Oh yeah. No,
that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, I was comparing an axe murderer to a rapist because they are.
Yeah, no, totally.
It came across cheater. Sorry, I was understanding like cheater too, not.
Yeah, I was. Well,
no, like that's my thing. Like I was taking this to the extreme. I'm sorry, but it's like imagine like you've been in love with your man. And you find out he's been raping women for 10 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, that's a whole different
thing.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing. I was saying, like, you know, he would survive, you know, cheating.
Oh, of course.
Even with girls on Instagram.
Of course, like, of course.
Either his girl will forgive him. He'll pull a Derek Jackson and be like, I'm going to church now. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, he could be like, all right, she left me. I'm heartbroken, whatever. And guess what? He'll get 20,000 DMs like, oh, baby, I understand. Why don't you come by, you know, and talk to me? I mean, Deshaun Watson literally has the world. He has the trifecta: rich, talented, and handsome. You know what I mean? Athletic, fit, everything.
Well,
he ain't got Savon's belly. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, I'm built like, hey, we ain't got to talk about this. It's just different, man. It's just different day and age, and you got to protect yourself and your brand at all costs, like I said. So,
yeah, no, I agree 100%. And if you agree, please leave us a comment, like, subscribe to the Sports Place. So we're going to dive into some tough topics. I know some of you saw our last video. You should go back to our other video on trans athletes. Go back and look at some of our other videos that we talked about. We have fun on this show, but we also talk about some serious issues. Like and subscribe. Yeah, and definitely subscribe to Toro Productions and look at all of our shows, including The Cruise Line and soon to come Life and Justice. We're going to be doing some incredible things on this channel. So please, again, like, subscribe, watch us all the way through. and we'll be back with more of from the Sports Place. Thank you.